Well, well, well. I like tea. I like to read. Can you do the math on where this paragraph is going, or are you stupid? There's not a ton of good reading material for tea. There's some stuff. Maybe I'll get around to reviewing some of the other stuff I've read. But, you got some rude birds over there. I don't know how visible they are in the sunlight. It's not very nice of them. But in the last couple of years, we've had a magazine start coming out. It's called 80 Degrees, and if you'll give me a moment to check here. Well, you've already got some incorrectness. You got some crimes to answer for, buddy. Their mission is to transform your tea experience, they say, through expert insights, cultural stories, and in-depth reviews from the heart of tea communities worldwide. Look at that. It's got texture on it. We'll get to that. I don't know why I'm interrupting myself. I had a plan for how I was going to go through this. That's gone. I mean, we know how my plans go, so, you know. Let's see if their most recent issue 13, lives up to those ideals, and if it lives up to the half exorbitant price of about $22. I'm raising my eyebrows right now. You can't tell because the camera's pointed that way, but they're up. They're up in the sky there. Those eyebrows. That bird agrees. $22 sounds like a lot when talking about one issue of a magazine that's 154 pages long. That takes you approximately however long it takes you to read it. But, you know, $22 doesn't sound that much when you compare it to the vast sums of wealth I've spent on Amtrak hot dogs this year alone. You know, the way the bun cooks in the microwave, the sort of textural variations in the bun alone. It goes from, like, parts that are pillow soft and toilet bowl hard to parts that are pillow dry and toilet bowl wet. All in one bun. And then on top of that, there's a whole darn hot dog. And you know, that's just the dog itself. You compare it with, I mean, you add up all the toppings you could put on it, and the fact that as you eat it, you're sort of looking out at the beautiful, majestic American hellscape that we, or at least I live in. It's something magical. So, you know, does this taste as good as 4 Amtrak hot dogs? Well, no, because it's a book. Books don't taste good. They're for reading. You don't know that because you're stupid. That bird agrees with me. So does that one. All right, 80 degrees. Let's face this preface with the acknowledgement that I, as a person, kind of err on the critical. You don't know that because you're stupid. A lot. It's a lot easier for me. And it's a lot easier to express. It's a lot easier for me to say words than it is for me to do anything. That's not true. It's a lot easier for me to express the reasons why I don't like something than why I do. And, you know, I'm going to voice those. So this is probably going to come off more critical than I actually feel about this publication, which, you know, I guess how I feel about it, you'll find out how I feel about it. That's what the point of this is. That's why this isn't 12 seconds long. Also because, I don't know, I ramble about hot dog. There goes the sun. You better hurry up. I got a lot of pages to go through and not a lot of daylight left. Alright, quick bit of anti-criticism here. Came with a bookmark. You know, looks pretty good. It's got the little logo-y stuff on it. Now returning to criticism. This bookmark's too big. It works for this magazine, but if I got a paperback, this thing's coming out both sides. The only time stuff should be coming out both sides is in a sort of like, you know, the aftermath of a 4-hour escapade at your local bathhouse. Okay? Shouldn't be happening with a bookmark. Bookmark, too big. A complaint never heard at a bathhouse, by the way. A real bathhouse joke kind of mood here. I don't know why. My hands are getting cold. God, I gotta stop rambling, and I gotta start ambling towards a conclusion. I haven't even started ambling towards a preamble. Okay, we'll start with some style stuff. Style, it looks pretty slick. It's got some nice, literally slick pages. They feel good. I mean, it looks good. Right on a printing level, you're gonna have to steel yourselves for a knit so picked. It's the complete antithesis of me in high school kickball. We've got a little, it's hard to tell. Maybe you could see the paper a little bit here. So that looks like when they cut it, the cover is a little shorter than the rest of the paper. I actually didn't notice that until I sat down here today. Also, okay, so you see these? The gutters here, the creases, the one on the back here. They're for, so when you open it, it kind of, it opens there. Gives a place so it doesn't like get all bendy and look bad. It looks like the crease is supposed to line up with where the red transitions into the whatever this color is. I don't know. It doesn't. It's off by like, I don't know how much that is. Is it a millimeter? I'm not sure, but it's off. Like I said, this is a minor pick to knit, and I picked it. And here's their little statement. I mean, I'm not going to read all that, but this part here: explore this culture of tea and get the most out of our teas. So we'll see if it lives up to that. Delve into the ways teas inspire an artist. A bridge between cultures, a means to navigate personal identity. Will this issue do that? Will it be successful, or will it have more in common with me? And, God, that's a really big way to write inside, huh? Hojicha, okay, we got a thing to say here. This is emblematic of the publication as a whole, or at least this issue. Pictures. There's lots of pictures. They take up an entire page. Sometimes it's a little more than that. There's too many pictures. They're too big. I don't want this many pictures. Okay, a picture may be worth 1,000 words, but a picture is not worth $22. Words are worth $22. A picture's worth, I don't know, a fart in the wind or something. It's too many for me. Maybe if you're illiterate, this is good. As one of the 3 people who's seen a book in their life, I got a problem with this. All right, this little article here. It's an interview. It's an interview with our friend. Jeez, I don't know why I'm calling him that. Some guy. Zach. It's like a Hojicha 101. It's an intro to the tea. It's a roasted Japanese green tea. Goes over it's sort of history. How it's processed, how it's changing, that sort of thing. For example, for the changes, they talk about how Hojicha used to be with like older leaves that were lower quality, that you just roast them to death. Not to death, but to the point where there was no more leaf taste in it, and it was all roast taste, which I've had many of those kind of teas before, and it was like the rejecta of the tea leaf world. Does it break the immersion that my script is like kind of right there? Does it? Can you even see it? But that sort of heavy roast thing is changing. There's a lot more Hojichas that they're a much lighter roast now, according to this interview. That they emphasize the flavor of the tea, the actual tea more, and the processing has started to change a bit more. There's farmers that are I'm skipping ahead. Farmers that are starting to process their tea by themselves rather than sending it off to a separate factory who then process it. That way you get kind of a consistent thing. Or actually the opposite of a consistent thing. You get an inconsistent thing, but it's from sort of one little farm. You get the taste of the farm. You get more variation, which I think is neat. There's a weirdness to how, I don't know, Hojicha's got like a really broad definition now. This is not just the heavily roasted stuff, it's the semi-roasted stuff. And even this guy doesn't have a good grasp of what the definition is. He says it's more of a feeling or expression than a straightforward flavor profile. That's not helpful. That's the opposite of helpful. Why would you do that, guy? It doesn't feel like the best way to categorize a tea. You know, he says the specific feeling is hospitality in a cup. He uses the word nostalgic, which I don't know if you could be nostalgic for something you've never had before. You know, it's maybe nostalgic for him because he sounds like he grew up with it, but I didn't grow up with it. So how can I be nostalgic for it? Can you be nostalgic for something you've never had before? Is it more of like a sort of vague, warm, fuzzy feeling that's unrelated to past experience? Is it some sort of like deep primal thing that he's getting at? He starts talking about like fire at some point, the presence of fire. And the relationship there, which does make it sound like it's some sort of like ancestral, like species-wide feeling that we all get, apparently. It gets into a lot about the role it has in society, the way people drink it. It's often shared with people. It's not something you drink by yourself. It's, oh my god, get away. It can often be like a late night kind of thing, or like something that they give to kids because it's a lower caffeine. Although to the extent that it's a lower caffeine is, I don't know. I don't really trust anyone who says anything about the caffeine content of teas, except for the fact that matcha is super high in caffeine. Because every time I've looked at someone who's done like a study of tea caffeine content, I mean, it's generally like obviously lower than coffee, but it's really messy. It's not as consistent as you would think. Look, if you ask someone how they brew tea and you say, you just gotta feel it out, those are bad instructions. Okay? Hey, how should I fly a plane? Oh, you know, just feel it out. No. Disagree. Give a couple of instructions. I mean, he then does give instructions, but I don't like. You know, don't just say feel it out. You can't feel it out until you know what you're feeling. It's an okay interview. It's a decent, if you want a primer on Hojicha, it works. Some information about the way it's changing now, and ideas, and ooh, my hand's getting chilly, and my stomach's getting rumbly. You know what that means. Eventually, I will ruin another bathroom. Hey, Peter, on tea and art, on a warm summer morning in Fornello. This is an interview with an artist who does, like, tea ceremony, tea house exhibitions, and the way that sort of combines with both his photography and, you know, the sort of intersection between tea and art, which is one of the things that they talked about in the old editor's note deal. So, you know, they did that. I mean, look at these. There's so much picture. Look at all this picture here. This is the amount of words that I got here. What are you doing? 80 degrees. This is better. This is more appropriate. What was that? At one point he says the word authentic, which I had to really restrain myself from writing like an hour-long sort of just incoherent ramble about my problems with the word authentic. And the ducks, you don't have to yell. And I don't know, the way it's very complicated, and I don't know, authenticity is a weird thing. It's like a feeling more so than an actuality most of the time. It's like something that the person who wants the thing to be authentic is kind of constructing for themselves, and they have an idea of what authenticity is, and things have to meet that level of authenticity, and so the people that are trying to give that authentic expression of their own culture then have to like be inauthentic. But are they being inauthentic? I don't know. It's very messy. But he said the word one time, and it started my engines a little bit, but not all the way. I think I started them up a little later on as far as the authenticity thing goes. Someone else says the word and gets into it a little more in a way that I had words about. I do think there's something interesting about, you know, his like art exhibitions are tea ceremonies, and there's something interesting about, like, I don't know, often when I think of like a museum experience and you're sort of getting a taste of someone else's culture, it's not a taste. It's like you're looking at it, right? Or you're watching a movie, you're listening to music. It kind of feels like inactive in a way, where you're not like a participant in the action. Whereas in this, you are literally you're participating in it. And there's I don't know, there's something interesting about that feels different than like, I don't know, interacting with a culture via looking at a painting or a sculpture or something. My hands are cold. Let's put some gloves on. I guess that's all I have to say about it. If it's so interesting, why don't I have more to say, huh? Well, it's because I'm 32 pages into 154 page magazine here, and the sun is like there. I really like the idea of these like tea exhibition art project things, or really just I like the idea of people serving tea. I really like the design of this little, I don't know, the way it's like nestled into that tree and like overhangs on it. That's nice. It looks good. I like when people do like sort of like working with like actual plants. Although this could just be a trick of the camera. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Maybe it isn't covered up. Maybe it just looks like that. I hope it is. I hope it's sort of like built via, oh, I'm getting chilly now. Oh, I gotta hurry up. Built via that. And I don't know. I just like that there's more spaces for people to have tea in a way that isn't like immediately commercial. It's interesting. It's so interesting. Everything's so interesting. Such an empty, vapid word. It's just filler. It's just like the stuff that you put in a pillow or a hamburger that you get from an Amtrak. It's all just filler. It's like a Naruto. It's filler. I will say it's a fine enough interview. I think a lot of the thing is with a lot of this is that I don't know how much of what I am engaged by is things that I am finding for myself and doing the work on versus things that are really just in the text itself. You know, bit of both maybe. I don't know how I feel about this plywood here. I don't know. The fact that I'm getting a reaction to it is worth something, I think. From an artistic sort of, I'm starting to shake now. That's not a good sign. Artistic sort of standpoint. I will say the ordering of these photos is all over the place. It doesn't really seem to ever match the, because he's done a couple exhibits here. It never seems to match the exhibit that he's talking about. They should have ordered it a little better. And in addition to ordering it better, maybe have a couple fewer pictures. In the land of the tea gods. We're in picture land again. I'm going to say unnecessarily. I mean, they're nice, they look nice, but they don't gotta be there. 80 degrees, okay? 80 degrees, more like 80 pictures in your 160-page magazine. God, that's probably right, honestly. This is an article about spirituality and tea, the sort of crossovers there, mostly about the God, I'm going to pronounce it, and I'm not going to pronounce it right. The Bulang people in southwestern China. And then there's sort of like, I don't know, tea worship kind of culture. And there's also a bit about connection between like Buddhism and Taoism and, it says it right there, tea and Buddhism and tea. That, you know, there's sort of like a zoom out to other sort of spiritual practices in China that have to do with tea. I don't know if the zoom out's necessary. I think it kind of distracts for a bit. I think I would have preferred more zooming in, specifically on the old Bulang. I think a general theme with this is there's a lot of articles that are a little too short because there's a couple too many pictures. There's a bit of an emphasis put on here about this like lineage, this tea worship thing, being like very old and kind of unbroken. They get into a little bit about how cultural revolution in China, you do get like, you know, this is all old China stuff that we are disposing of, and that, I don't know, the degree to which there was a heavy break there, and they kind of revived the practice more so than like it continued, but maybe like in a quieter, more underground way is unclear. I don't know. Can you revive a practice? Is that a thing? I don't know. It's one of the interesting things is that like part of what revived the culture here is people coming in for the tea. It's like, I don't know. It's a weird. It's not just that like the people living there were no longer like, you know, under the boot of the Maoist government that was like very specific about what they were allowed to do. Not that that's, you know, I mean, there's still a government that's very specific about what they're not allowed to do, but it's a little less specific. And so, you know, having your ancestral tea worship tree is a little more acceptable than it used to be. Where's I going with that? Oh, I totally lost the thread on that. Hot dog, hot diggity darn dog. It's gone. Poof, like a fart in the wind. We lost her. Let's see, Cultural Revolution. Oh, yeah, there's people coming in from the outside, it seemed like, rather than like people were finally like, oh boy, we can revive our practice. This is nice. Which maybe I was also, you know, maybe a bit of both. But there was like a lot of, you know, there's a book I'm reading right now that's also about tea called Puer, Ancient Caravans and Urban Chic, which I think if you read this, and this article sounds interesting to you, or it is interesting to you, and you want a little more, to dig a little bit more into, especially into authenticity too. They spend some time on the sort of, I don't know, the creation of authenticity, and I don't know, the way it kind of comes from the outside and is inspired by people coming in from the outside for it to happen. And that, like, you know, what used to be like a family scale, small scale tea production now becomes factoryized a little bit. And the authentic village now no longer looks so authentic because the road needs to be a little bit bigger and a little bit better so you can get a car or a truck down it. And I don't know, there's a lot going on. It's a good book. I would recommend that book. It's a pretty good article. I wish it went a little farther, a little more in depth. You know, kind of how like I want to go with Chris Angel. Why Zimbabwe's apostolic sects revere tea? Look at these drawings. They're nice, but come on. You want to take up this much space on me? I'm going to keep complaining about it. I'm not going to stop. I didn't know I was getting a picture book for babies. I thought I was getting a word book for big old smart brain adults like myself. All right, this here we got an article about the sort of ritual and healing place tea has within specifically the Zion Christian Church in Zimbabwe. This is another one. It's similar to the previous one, where the last couple previous ones, where there's things that I'm kind of compelled by, and I don't know how much the author is compelled by them, and I kind of wish the author was more outwardly compelled by them and would dig into them a little more. Like, for example, one thing that's interesting to me is that, like, okay, there's always been, like, maybe not always, I shouldn't use universals like that, because God forbid I'm wrong about something. I have to couch whatever every word with. Okay, I had my second battery of the day die on me. That's not a call to speedy action. I don't know what is. Oh, I know what is. It's cold and it's getting dark. Plants have been used medicinally and ritually in all sorts of cultures for a very long time. And at one point, the people here would have been using plants that were like indigenous to the area, and now they're using tea that it is grown in Zimbabwe. It's not from Zimbabwe. Tea. It's from, I assume it's mostly Assam tea, Assamica, so it's mostly probably from like India-ish. And that, there's like a factory involved in it. That's, I don't know. There's something about that change there that's like, it's not investigated. I would like it to be investigated. Not to say like, ooh, now this is bad and authentic, but like, what does that mean? What does it mean when the plants that are part of your ritual are not, the whatever, the stuff you pick out in a walk that in the place that you've lived have been picking out and using for years and years and years, and now it's a tea bag. I don't know. Maybe that means something. It definitely means something. How could it not? I don't know what it means. We got some more tea, spirituality, culture stuff going on. I haven't had any Zimbabwe tea before, Zimbabwean. I guess someday. As I die. As I freeze to death out here. Or I shit my pants to death. One of the things that's interesting, and this is again, God, I'm using that word a lot and I do not like that word. God, it's such a Dragon Ball Z episode of a word, isn't it? One of the things that's so intriguing here that they don't really investigate. They don't. It doesn't. I don't know if it occurred to anybody. I think there's something really kind of neat about the way things that have spiritual or occult-ish significance are sometimes accidentally invented. Like like the Ouija board. It was like a fun board game that became a staple of Zach Baggins.
Are you a male or a female spirit? Once for a male, twice for a female. Stop it. Stop. Stop.
There's a weird trajectory there that I like, that it's not specifically made for that it outgrew its purpose and they accidentally invented an object that ends up having like this weird religious spiritual significance, like this tea. Although, the tea itself doesn't really have it, it's the priests who make the tea. I think you can hear the chattering of teeth in my voice because it's getting a little chilly. Burning questions. It's the Q&A section. The readers send in questions and they have various tea houses answer it, which I like that as a format. I always like the question and answer section of this kind of stuff. I like the kind of relationship it builds between like reader and editor. I got a problem here. Here you'll find advice to address 7 of your most pressing questions. Let's see how well they're counting as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get ready. Oh, that ain't 7. 80 degrees. More like 5 questions. What? Sometimes the questions aren't really answered. Sometimes they're sort of answered. They're okay. One thing I like if you have the name of the person asking the question. I think that adds a little bit. I don't know. Maybe a little more interesting questions that are properly answered. Also, one of them is answered by Ching Ching Cha, which is that's the tea house that got me into tea. It's in DC. It used to be in Georgetown. The location of the building was in, I don't love Georgetown. It's on that strip of road that's just a bunch of Forever 21s and garbage, and there's so many people walking around it. It's like they turned a historical section of a city into just a mall. It's really weird. And there's just so many people. That area sucked. Although they did film The Exorcist there. So that's kind of cool. And you could look at the steps and then look at some Transformers. But the tea house itself was really great. I liked that location. It was set up in a really nice way. And they moved now to DuPont Circle, and I don't like the location as much anymore. It's still a good place. Still more expensive. I don't think they have food there anymore either. This is the first time I had tea that made me go like, oh wow, that was great. But yeah, Q&A section. I like those. Those are good. Welcome in. Let's welcome in this little part 1 of a 3-parts series of short memoirs about the year I spent working in a matcha cafe. This is okay. I don't know. It's too slight. It's very short and not. I don't know. It just doesn't make much of an impact. They do an don't look at that. They do an okay job of getting across character stuff pretty quick. Without a ton of description and dialogue, you get a decent enough sense for the people that this person is working with at this matcha cafe thing. I don't know that this should be a 3-parter. I don't think it's got the meat for that. I think it's a little too slight. It's fine-ish. Yeah. This was one of the weaker offerings, unfortunately, which is sad. I was really excited about it, actually. I liked that there's I don't know, that you're getting interviews, you're getting like historical stuff, you're getting Q&A, and then you're getting memoir. I don't know, I like the broadness of different things, but I'm shaking. I'm so cold. This isn't the winter. Also, a lot of pictures. Why? Okay, water, air, tree, tea house. This is the art and tea article they talked about is tea house, and I have to take a shit. Alright. It's dark out. I hit a wall. Or, I suppose more accurately, the wall hit me repeatedly in the butt. My butt came a-calling, and you know who didn't come a-answering was the city of Klamath Falls. Klamath? I don't even care anymore. I hope I'm pronouncing it wrong. You deserve it. So here's the sort of issue was, you know, I on my way in, I noticed, oh hey, there's some public restrooms in this park area. Nice. I'm right by those in case a sort of like speedy diarrheal terror strikes me, as you know can happen after the ingestion of many chais, and you know it did. I was overtaken by an anal terror, I'll admit it. I walked over to those and I'm at the bathrooms, and the way I noticed, oh, some porta potties, that's nice. Look at that. Oh, they're behind bars. They put bars in front of them. They put the toilets in jail. That's weird. Huh. Oh well, that's fine. I'd rather use the real bathrooms anyway, you know. It's just better. Don't feel so gross. And I got to them, and you know what? They were locked. They got locked up. They got, what are they, Clinton? Who locked them up? Trump? What? Why did this happen to me? Why are Klamath Falls bathrooms all locked up? Someone was knocking at my door, and they wouldn't stop. And boy howdy was I in a state. You know, Levain Bakery was really ready to pass it forward. And I am talking about the passage of a stool, you know, from a butt. A sort of diarrheal engagement. So I had to go into a restaurant and just eat, because I couldn't find a bathroom. And you know what? I should have stayed in there longer. My train's not for like another 3 hours. What am I just gonna walk the streets? Oh, guess what? Yeah, I am. Klamath Falls, you're a bathroom lockup policy. It's anti-butt, anti-bladder, it's anti-autism, and it's fucking anti-homeless. Okay? You suck. I hate you. How could you do this to me? That's probably what that toilet said after my many visits. Oh, I should take that thing out of my backpack so I could keep reviewing and walking. Today I was the Klamath Fall. That's okay, because I got this, and I've got my little mission, and I believe I was going to talk about this before, oh boy, before sort of the other end of me realized it had many things to say, and those things are all quite vulgar. Okay, water, air, tree, tea house. And probably none of this is visible. It's too dark. So this one is a continuation of the interview with old Peter. Remember him? Art and... oh boy. Yeah, this guy. The bald guy. Look, you don't... what do you want? Huh? Oh, you want me to review the thing properly? Go to hell. Okay, here it is. Look, it's Peter's tea house. I don't care. Look, I do care. Look at the photographs. Okay, see, there's not really walls. Let's walk backwards, that might help. Ooh. And you see, it's an interesting design choice to have like the open walls there there's not like a little, unless there is and I didn't see it, there's not like a little doohickey to make it, closed walls ever. It's just open. It's a neat little thing because the walls are just totally open, right? They're not closed off. I guess some of them seem to have screens. Maybe it's all of them. I think it's an interesting thing. When I was looking at it, it made me think about walls and the sort of functionality of them, and the way that they could kind of like guide like a direction and define a space, even though they're mostly empty and open. I don't know, that's pretty neat to me conceptually. I like that. I like when a building makes me think a little bit. Buildings should do that. These are all my footprints, I think. Because I've been walking up and down these streets, let me tell you. Where are people all driving to? Everything's closed, don't you know? We're done. Don't you know it's time to go back home and look at a minimum of 2 screens? Look, we got all this stuff. Look, I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? What I think and all sorts of stuff. Guess what? Here's what I think. I don't know. I'm beat. I lost today. I truly lost. Alright, next thing. Searching for home between cultures. This is like a sort of, what would you call it? I don't know if memoir is the right word. It's someone writing about their experience being part, sort of between cultures, right? Their family is Algerian, but they grew up in the United Kingdom. Both of those places have a tea culture that are pretty different, right? In Algeria, in the deserty parts, it's like mint tea and whatnot. And you know what British tea's like. Come on, don't make me explain that to you. But the author's kind of looking. They feel between the two of them. They don't feel really at home in either, which subject matter wise, interesting. They don't get into it a ton, which is pretty standard for this, but they get into it a little bit, which is fine.
Are you evil? 1's for yes, 2 for no.
Okay, we're skipping ahead a little bit now. Here we go. Okay, ooh, my bookmark. Hold on, I gotta mark my book. Klamath Falls. I don't know. I think I'd call it a Klamath winter. I need to be engaged, but I gotta say, the only thing I want to engage is a nuclear weapon. Klamath Falls looks a little more like Klamath Stands to me. And my book, I mean my book. Okay, I couldn't even go to City Hall. Stands to go to hell. Won't tell me what I think. So I'm just gonna forget what I think and not think. What if I wanted to come in there and look at files? What is happening? Files of the city? How do pockets work? Just edit all this out. Dust. Oh God. What's going on? Die. I think you're really, you lost things when you reach the point in the night when you start seeing deer. Have fun, my dudes. Okay, we got the red light. Alright, and they were talking about, let me see if I can find it. They might have a quote somewhere. There's a presumption for us, that for us children of immigrants, a connection to your parents' native country comes naturally. But this hasn't really been my experience. can sometimes be challenging to form an emotional bond with a country that you don't actually live in. Even though everything in your nature tells you that by blood this should be your place, anytime you do visit this anointed motherland, your foreignness makes you stick out. You don't understand everything, and your differences from the people around you feel stark. At the same time, you might also feel a cool distance from your adopted land. Despite living in the UK all my life, I still feel like I'm learning British culture. It's a good little, not feeling at home anywhere, being in between cultures. I mean, that's like the name of the thing. It does a good job at very lightly exploring it. It made me think a lot of the Boat, the short story connection collection by I don't know how to pronounce their name. I've only ever read it. Li Wei. Yeah, the experience of not really belonging anywhere or feeling like you don't belong anywhere. Or Ken Liu, pronunciation, I don't know. His collection that has the paper menagerie in it has a lot about being like a mixed ethnicity. That's a really good exploration of it. I like that too. It was a good article. I liked that. I'm losing it. But that's okay, because I'm gonna find it. Where are we now? Oh my god, I have so much left. Tea in Thailand. Okay, this is a little history. Untold story. Excuse me, ma'am. Of warrior farmers. This is about kind of Thai tea, but not Thai tea. It's, the tea that's grown in Thailand and part of like the tea culture there, rather than, the canned little orange stuff that's super sweet, like milk drink thing. It's more about that, or not about that. What do you want? What do I want? What are I doing? There's a chill in the air tonight, and it's the northern Thai like tea culture. Oh no, my book. Oh no, my book. This thing's taking a beating now. What is it? A wiener? Oh god, we're really losing the thread here. A plot, everything. It comes a lot from post-Chinese Civil War, like nationalist soldiers who were kind of the losers of the Civil War, and so they had some problems, and being the war losers. So the king of Thailand just said, "Hey, come on over, hop on in," and so they did. When they started farming, they had experience with farming and with tea, and so they started growing tea, making tea, and so there's like a surprisingly big like Chinese tea culture in there, or like descended from Chinese tea culture. All right, let's cross. Fucking pigs. Got a lot of overlap apparently with Taiwanese tea. They do a lot of the same cultivars. A lot of like the Taiwanese tea experts came to Thailand and were showing them like the processing techniques and everything. God, what else? See, a Taiwanese influence. I was right. I summarized the thing. I know what I'm doing. I'm a god. I am a god. I don't know, they probably did some other stuff. They really amp up Thai tea, about how it's like the same quality as like a Taiwanese tea, except it's like way cheaper. Makes me want to have Taiwanese tea. Taiwanese Thai tea, my god. I did it. There's probably more, I don't know. Do I have thoughts on the article? Probably. I don't know why I'm so committed to doing this now when I rarely can do anything. Okay, it was a fine history article. The craft of tea, part 1. Chinese plant, British silver. This is like a book version of a museum exhibit, which I know, like, is that a thing? Is that a book genre? It should be. A lot of times I don't actually like going to museums, but like this is an interesting little exhibit that I don't even know where it was. It would probably tell me somewhere. I'm assuming London or something. And, there's a bunch of tea stuff. It is a museum exhibit in article form about like the intersection between sort of the Chinese and European like styles in tea wear, which is interesting. There's like efforts by people in China at the time making like teapots to like Europeanize the things that they're making so they can, be more attractive to the people in Europe that are buying it, but it still has like a Chinese teapot made in their style with their choices, except there's like these little, they'll have like a Roman soldier on like a bit of it. Like this one, yeah, there's a Roman soldier, there's, there's some like accents of like, oh, this is like a thing to cater to like the European tastes, so it's not too like out there to them, which is neat. I don't know, I like that. I like that practice, more like the, like that idea of it, of like people trying to like find this like weird imagined middle ground, or not even middle ground, between these two cultures, and like trying to find this intersection. It's cool. It's a decent little article. And you know what? It's fine. These are really, oh god. Someone hit me with a bus. You can't, because they're not running right now. They stopped running. Good stuff. Art of haiku. It's about haiku and the little bit of history, how the way they interact with tea. It makes me want to read more Basho. I think they quote a lot of his little haiku. They're good. There's a lot of little design things here. They look nice. They're taking up so much space. I hate it. But they look nice. I'm breathing, baby. God, am I really just gonna... Bridging with tea. There's a guy in Chinatown in New York City. He has this tea shop thing, trying to make tea accessible to everybody. That's fine. It makes me want to go visit there. Is it it's a thing? It's fine. I don't know. Look, I'm done. Maybe I'll go back and re-record a fair amount of this, because I have been defeated. Here's this one, I can't pronounce that. There's Slovakia somewhere. There's a tea shop, tea house. Kind of a weak article. I wasn't really grabbed. It was too general, and too light of a touch. Wanted a little more like drill in on one subject maybe, or something. I don't know. But if I'm in Bratislava, I'll visit here, I guess. It's a pretty good magazine. $22, whatever, I don't care. $22, I'll light that on fire. Put up your butt. What are you gonna do about it, huh? This is America. Alright, look at a post office hole. Post office. God, that's a lot of... They got more post office trucks than they got buses in this city, I bet. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Do you remember when I was a living being who existed? I don't think I ever was. I think I was always like this. Just waiting to come out. Come out of my little cocoon. Should you get this? I don't know. It's up to you. Or it's a difficult thing to like categorize. Because I can't decide if it's worth it for you. So there you go. That was a waste of your time, huh? Good. What if we get hit by a bus that doesn't run past 5 p.m. on a weekday? But it's because, I don't know. People treat money differently. People have different amounts of money. If you're broke, you probably don't think it's worth it, even if this is like the best thing ever, because you don't got no money. But if you're wealthy, then who cares? I don't know. $22, I'll put that up your butt too. Who cares? Where am I? Who am I? That's that. But, and the degree to which different people enjoy things is different, huh? Isn't that crazy? Wow, that's an observation so astute, you could do something with it. Gonna go to bed now. Oh, my train's not here for another 3 hours or something. Okay. I guess not. Wish I was a hot dog. Wrap me in that bun and put me in the microwave, baby. That's what I want. I want to be a hot dog in the microwave real good. You get kind of crusty on my bun. And then I could get kind of, put a little mustard on me and we're good to go. Hebrew National. You just gotta eat it. What are you doing? You just gotta eat it. Man, I kind of feel bad that I didn't. I had a lot more thoughts on the. Okay, I do. Oh my god, I have thoughts in my head, and expressing them is so energy conducting that. Look, I'm a hot dog. I don't got time for this shit. I'm a hot dog. I'm still recording. Recordering. Recorderoys.